Welcome in, Senator Mark Kelly and his wife, Gabrielle Giffords, has taken to the stand, taken to the podium
so excited
to possibly
to be with
maybe
all of you
introduce
today.
Kamala. Let's listen.
And to welcome our next president and vice president, to our great home of the state of Arizona. So, Gabby and I played rock, paper, scissors to see who could speak first today. And guess who won? You're right. My wife, the woman who inspires me each and every day and teaches me to never give up. Gabby Giffords.
Our lives can change so quickly. Mine did when I was shot. But I never gave up hope. I chose to make a new start, to move ahead, to not look back. I'm relearning so many things, how to walk, how to talk, and I'm fighting to make the country safer. It can be so difficult. Losses hurt. Setbacks are hard, but I tell myself, move ahead. I'm finding joy in small things, riding my bike, playing the French horn, going to the gym, laughing with friends. The small things add up. We are living challenging time. We're up for the challenge. My own recovery has taken years. Many, many, many people helped me along the way, and I learned so much. I learned that people care for each other and work together. Progress is possible. A world is possible. But change doesn't happen overnight, and we can't do it alone. Join me. Let's move ahead together. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, she sounds fantastic. She sounds great.
Gabby Giffords, everybody.
Once again, this is Mark Kelly, the astronaut, the man who was supposedly, reportedly in the top 3.
Arizona Democrats.
To be Kamala's running mate.
Now, we've done a whole lot of winning over these past few years, haven't we? And I don't know about you, but I think we're ready to keep winning. We are going to keep winning with Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz. And we've got to, because there is so much at stake. Whether our kids grow up with the same rights and freedoms as the generations before them. Whether our economy works for everyday people or is rigged for billionaires. And whether our alliances are strengthened or shredded. And that's why we have to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Kamala Harris has served as a prosecutor, an attorney general, a senator, and now as the Vice President of the United States of America. She is the leader we need to take our country into the future. To lower the cost of child care. To restore reproductive rights. And to help us reduce gun violence. And Tim Walz has served as a coach, as a teacher, as the governor of the state of Minnesota, and in the U.S. House. And I don't know if you know this, but Gabby and Tim Walz were sworn in together as brand new members of Congress. Right? Yes. Right. He served honorably in uniform for decades. And Tim has brought that experience to everything he has done since. Fighting for our service members, fighting for veterans, and fighting for military families. Now, that's not something I expect that Donald Trump would understand. Donald Trump calls those who served suckers and losers. And he has zero respect for any of us who have worn the uniform. Folks, here in Arizona, we don't attack people for their service to our country. What do? We thank them. Right? So, how do we help Vice President Harris and Governor Walz win this election? So, folks, this is not rocket science. And I know a little bit about rocket science. That ain't this. What this is about is who works harder. That's it. It is as simple as that. And here's the thing. I've flown in space 4 times. And I've flown in combat nearly 40 times. But folks, not once did I do any of that by myself. It takes a team of people working together to accomplish a mission. It's always been that way. Now, I may be a Navy guy. I might be a Navy guy, but to win this election, we do not need a Navy. What we need is an Army. Now, here's the good news. Our future vice president, he's an Army guy. So we need all of you to become part of an army.
Yes.
An unstoppable army that can get this team through the trenches and across the finish line. And Gabby and I, we are ready to join this army. Are all of you? All right, so let's get this done, Arizona. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I do want to talk about the Killer Critics comment. Mapleline, of course, pointed out, and that's that Gabrielle Giffords is the perfect person to have up on stage talking about gun control. Yes, 100% true. And Mark Kelly's the perfect guy to have up there to talk about Walz's military career. It's such a shame that, I've got to mute this. Got to mute the music. It's such a shame what J.D. Vance is doing, trying to swift boat Tim Walz, trying to attack his military career. Like, military service members, they rib each other. Navy ribs the Army, and vice versa, and the different branches, they'll rib each other. But to attack another soldier politically and to do it for political points is just a damn shame. So Mark Kelly and Gabby Giffords, the perfect couple to stand up there to talk about Tim Walz's military career and to talk about gun control. I just wanted to point that out. In the meantime, we've got over 400 viewers just on YouTube. We're also streaming on Twitch. I created a Twitch page because why not? Reflect_news. And then we're also streaming over on Facebook, facebook.com/RFLCT it was the only way I could get Reflect Anything over on Facebook. And so that's where all of those alerts right up above are coming from. The likes, the streams. I think if they're like new subscribers or any super chats or any stars given, those alerts will also pop up. But please keep liking the stream over on YouTube. Your alert may not pop up, but it definitely helps the stream. It definitely helps bring people in. Not a lot of news on the Democratic front, but the GOP is falling apart. Donald Trump is melting down. It couldn't be any worse over on the Republican side. After his rambling press conference yesterday, my goodness, I am so disappointed that all the networks covered it. I didn't touch that thing with a 10-foot pole. There is no way in hell that I'm going to let that guy take up an hour and a half of your guys' brain power. Like, the guy says the same thing over and over and over again. He's got a speech in Montana tonight that I was going to broadcast, but I was going to do it with a massive banner that just scrolled liar, 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 like the entire time. It's what every network should be doing. And instead they're just like, oh, I have to be fair and balanced, and I'll report his lies, and are they lies? Oh, I don't know. Like, MSNBC broadcast the entire thing uninterrupted. What are we doing? Lawrence O'Donnell actually, he condemned the networks, and I mean, while he didn't condemn his own network, he condemned the networks and the way that they covered Donald Trump's just. I mean, he just meandered and just topic to topic and all over the place. Oh man. And so today you had Jim Rogan, Tim Pool, these GOP influencers come out and say that they're voting for RFK Jr. This is exactly what I talked about yesterday in a video. You could tell that Donald Trump was, man, I have no idea how I'm staying focused through this music. They've got Daft Punk playing in the background. It's kind of like the King's Speech here. I've got music blasting. Maybe that's helping me focus. Who knows? Regardless, you could tell that Donald Trump, he tried so hard to be that focused presidential candidate up there, and instead the guy can't stay focused for more than 20, 30 seconds. And he's just kind of wandering all over the place. I mean, not physically, but just mentally. He's just all over the place. And in the past weeks, since Kamala has been on the way up, these GOP influencers have been saying, Donald, man, you need to focus. Like you're not just gonna just lazily waltz into, no pun intended, waltz into the White House because Biden and his stutter and his old age. It's a new day. And nope, Donald Trump couldn't do it. But you could tell that he was trying so hard. He tried to stay up there and he tried to be, I'm the president of I'm the future president of the United States. And he just couldn't do it. And so today, all of these influencers, and there's probably so many things happening behind the scenes with GOP donors, the guys who are putting out tens of millions of dollars to try to sway this election. Because if Donald Trump continues to just be the sack of potatoes who doesn't change his game, now that Kamala's in the game, he's going to lose the Senate. He's going to lose Congress. He's going to lose state houses. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible. So people have called me crazy. They're like, "Whoa, like Donald Trump's not going to he's not getting out of the race." And I think it is very unlikely, but it is entirely plausible that the GOP just turns on him and says, like, look, man, you're so clearly bad at this. Like your attack lines on Kamala have just been race baiting. Because remember, Donald Trump didn't run against Barack Obama. He ran against Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. And now that we've got Kamala, and that's something that really the press isn't really talking about, is now we're really starting to see the racist Donald Trump that we all know that he is, who he is. We know he's the racist pig. And that, I think, is going to very quickly turn people against him. And I think that's one of the reasons why Kamala is doing so well, is because black and brown people in this country, they know for damn sure that Donald Trump is a racist pig. And they want nothing to do with him. Okay, so in the meantime, I'm going to turn this back on. I think they still might just be they're just jamming. So here, let's throw the chat box up here and see what we got. All right. Biggs, thanks for liking the stream. Let's see if our chat box is even working. There it is. We've got so many people in the house. There we go. First off, just want to say big thank you to Maple Lane, the moderator, keeping the chat in line, keeping the trolls out. Terrence is back in the house. I see you, Terrence. Let me see if I can see some other names here that I recognize from. Anita is back in the house. Anita, I see you. Maria Rivera. Let's see. Felix Rivero. Let's see. Man, fantastic, guys. Fantastic. Good to have all of you back. Happy Friday, Maple Lane. It is Friday. We are feeling good. I've stopped sweating. I literally just finished a fitness class, and woo, it was brutal. I was afraid that my shirt was going to be. I actually switched shirts because I was sweating so profusely in the other one. But I've got a, hopefully you can't hear it too much, but I've got a fan underneath my desk that's blowing on me. I'm in Southern California. It's probably maybe the mid 70s out there. People in Phoenix, though, this is an indoor arena, thank goodness, because if this were outdoor, let me check the weather for Phoenix. I'm going to say today's high in Phoenix was maybe 102. Let's see what we got. Oh, the high was 107. It's right now it's 105 degrees with 20% humidity with a nice wind of 5 miles per hour. Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Tomorrow it's going to be 110 in Phoenix. You know what? I bet we'll hear from Fox News, some of these Republicans, that the only reason they could fill up the stadium was because it was so hot outside, and that all these people from Phoenix, they just wanted air conditioning. Guys. Oh, they're so pathetic. They're so pathetic. They're so weak. Okay, so here we go. I'm throwing up the comments just because I said I was going to, and then we didn't. All right, Waltz is taking the stage. Let's tune in to Waltz and hear what he has to say. Ballsy Walsy. I'm going to unmute it as soon as he starts talking. He's walking up to Bruce Springsteen. I don't know what the name of the song, but it's Small Town. Here we go. All right, everybody.
Hello, Arizona.
Let's see if...
Hey.
For me, the audio is a little off.
Yeah.
It was Mellencamp. My bad. That was not Bruce Springsteen.
Well,
I'm so sorry.
you might have seen a few
Terrible.
people showed up in Philadelphia the other night.
Oh, man, I feel terrible for making
And then
that mistake.
10,000 plus walked into a field in western Wisconsin. And then on Wednesday, the largest crowd of the campaign showed up in Detroit, Michigan.
Wait, Tim, Donald said you only had 2,000 in...
But Arizona just couldn't leave it
lying?
alone, could you? Wow. You know, it's not as if anybody cares about crowd sizes or anything. So.
Hey.
Wow.
Timmy.
Let me begin by giving a few thanks to some people here and a few dear folks to us. First of all, I want to thank Arizona for sharing Senator Mark Kelly and Gabby Giffords with the rest of the country. Gabby was a classmate of mine in '06, and they are both national treasures. Thank you, Arizona. Also had the privilege of serving with Congressman Gallego, and I'll have to tell you, he was an amazing colleague, and I have to tell you, he's going to be an amazing senator. But we get a twofer with Reuben because we know who is never going to be a United States senator. To all the local elected officials, thank you. But the most important thank you to each and every one of you. Look, you took time out of your busy lives. You found babysitters. You took time off work. You walked for miles in. Look, I'm a Minnesotan. I'm like a damn snowman. I'm melting here. We walk on water half the year in Minnesota. It's so damn cold. But not you. You came. And you came into this space with neighbors. And you came here for one beautiful, simple reason. You love this democracy. I'll tell you what.
Coach.
Wow. 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 Well, I couldn't be prouder to stand with you, and I couldn't be prouder to be on this ticket. You know what's at the end of this little journey? Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. This is a leader who wakes up every day on the side of the American people. She will take on the predators. She will take on the fraudsters. She will take on the transnational gangs. And she will stand up to the corporate interest and put middle America first. And she's been effective. She's been willing to reach across the aisle no matter what, just to make sure it improves people's lives. And I'll have to tell you, I know a little something about commitment to people. Some of you heard this. I was born in a small town in Nebraska. And we talk about small towns. These are those Nebraskans that moved out here for the winter. So, but look, small town was all about community. My mom and dad, they taught us to show some care to your neighbors, show some generosity, work towards a common good, be a decent human being to your neighbors. My dad, and some of you know him in here, you had him, a chain-smoking Korean War era veteran, cared about his community, but 2 days after I turned 17, he took me down to join the Army National Guard. And for 24 years, I proudly wore that uniform. I'm proud of that service, but what my nation gave my dad and millions of others and me was an opportunity to use the GI Bill to get a college education. My dad was a teacher. My brothers and sisters and I all became teachers. And we married teachers. I had the privilege of teaching high school social studies for 20 years. And you might have heard, coaching a state championship football team. Now if the Vikings could just win, that would be the Weber. Well, look.
Yeah. Vikings and Cardinals they don't have the best relationship.
That worked better near Green Bay, I'll tell you. So, look, it was my students. It was my students who encouraged me to run. They saw in me what I hope to instill in them, a commitment to a common good. The belief, the true belief, that one person, one of us in here, can make a difference in somebody's life. I wasn't very politically savvy because I did not know it when I decided to run for Congress that there had been one other Democrat elected in that district since 1892. But my neighbors believed, and they graced me with an opportunity to serve them in the United States Congress for 12 years. And I'm proud of the work I did as ranking member on the Veterans Affairs Committee, working on the Agriculture Committee. And I worked hand in hand with Republicans to make sure that we were crafting legislation that improved the lives of veterans and people all across this country. I learned how to compromise without compromising my values. And as governor of the great state of Minnesota, I brought all of those experiences to the challenges facing the state of Minnesota. This idea about a common good, this idea about something bigger than ourselves, this idea of kindness, generosity, and compassion, that this building, which I have been told, by the way, might be the largest political gathering in the history of Arizona.
How cool is that? Part of history tonight.
I think it's safe to say Donald Trump sees the world a little differently than we do. First and foremost, and be very clear about this, he doesn't know the first thing about service. It's hard to provide service when you're too busy serving only yourself. Again and again and again, Donald Trump weakens our country to strengthen his own hands. You've watched him mock our laws. You watched him sow chaos and division at every opportunity. And that's to say nothing of his record as president. As governors, he froze during COVID and pitted us in a hunger game against our neighbors to try and find basic life-saving needs. And because of him, our neighbors died. By failing to address COVID, he drove the economy into the ground. And let's be very clear. The statistics and the facts are clear about this. Violent crime was up under Donald Trump. And we don't even have to count his crimes in that to make it up. So, still.
Pretty intense line there. Walz saying our neighbors died because of Trump's COVID mishandling.
Better yet, beat the hell out of him at the ballot box. Beat the hell out of him at the ballot box.
Oh, baby. All right.
Look, you and I, especially the gray hairs in the crowd, we know our relatives. Republicans used to be the people talking about freedom. Not this group. When they talk about freedom, it means that the government should be free to invade your exam room with your doctor. Look, in Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make. We maybe wouldn't make the same choices, but we respect them. And I know in Minnesota and in Arizona and places across this country, you know what makes society work best? Is when you learn a golden rule. Mind your own damn business. Mind your own damn business. We don't need it. I don't need you telling me what books to read. I don't need you telling me about what religion we worship. And I sure the heck don't need you to tell me about my family. Look, this one's personal for me. This one's personal for me about IVF and reproductive care. When my wife and I, my wife of 30 years, because yes, we share family values, we just make our own damn choices about our family. But when we wanted to have children, we went through years of fertility treatment. And I remember it was like it was yesterday, just waiting for good news. And then the phone would ring and you would be tensed up, and then you would hear that the treatments had failed. It would blot out the sun that you just wanted something so beautiful and so simple to have a child. And then one day, and it wasn't by chance, when that news came and we welcomed our daughter into the world, we named her Hope. We named her Hope. I'm not crying, you're crying. So when Vice President Harris and I talk about freedom, we're very clear. We mean the freedom to make your own health care decisions. And for all of our children to be free to go to school without worrying they'll be shot dead in their classroom. And in Minnesota, believe me, we believe in the Second Amendment, but we also believe in common sense gun violence laws. I remind my colleagues when I was in Congress, Ruben could tell this story, for 3 years in a row I was the top gun in the congressional trap shoot, so we can shoot better than them too, just by the way. When Vice President Harris talks about freedom, it's when freedom is when education is a ticket to the middle class, not crippling student loan debt. And this building and what we believe in, we are people that settle our political differences not through violence, but through voting. It's a simple. Imagine every person in here is going to vote, and every person in here is going to get 10 other people to vote. And let's just go ahead and not go through this thing that it's so close. Let's just win big, people. Let's just win big. That's our choice. How often you get a choice so simple that this is going to decide the direction of our country. We have 87 days to decide the direction we're going to go. And I've been saying it. We can do anything for 87 days. Anything. And my mantra is, and look, you can see it on me over the last 5 days, we'll sleep when we're dead. We'll sleep when we're dead. Not now. Not now. Look, you know it, and I know it, but I think we need to be reminded. You know exactly what Donald Trump's plans are. You know which direction he's taking us. Don't believe this guy. Don't believe, that's like, listen, no one in here believes this guy, so anyway. But don't believe it when he's playing dumb about this Project 2025. He knows exactly what it'll do. They are not playing. They wrote their plan out. But just like they're getting arrogant about it, they're saying the quiet stuff out loud. It'll take our freedoms. It'll rig the economy for the super rich. It'll underfund veterans. And you know that if he goes back again, he's not only going to let go where he left off, it is going to be much, much, much worse. So look, rising costs, pulling health care from us, you know the whole routine. Look, I get this too. I know I'm preaching to the choir, a damn big and beautiful choir. But practice is over, people. The choir needs to sing. The choir needs to sing. Trump's not fighting for your family. He doesn't give a damn. And his running mate shares the same dangerous, twisted, backward agenda. Yeah. Every kid in my class of 25 studied at Yale, had their career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then writes a book trashing the very people who raised you. I've said it. It wasn't a name. It was an observation. These guys come up with the weirdest damn ideas that you will ever imagine. You know it's true. But here's the good news. We know the stakes. We know who they are. When they told us, we believed them. We know what's coming. But here's the big thing about it is, that's a reality that's not going to happen because the people in this building and millions across the country. This is a campaign about the future. We know what's there. We know it can come. We're not people who are afraid of the future. We shape the future. Kamala Harris believes in the freedom to make your own choices. She believes in the opportunity for every single person to enter the middle class. And she believes something so beautiful. She believes in the promise of America. The promise of America. So I want to say thank you, Madam Vice President, for the trust you placed in me. And I want to say something else, that this incredible leader, this incredible woman has brought to this fight. She has brought back compassion and decency and humor and joy to our politics. So Arizona, bring that joy with you, bring those smiles, bring that positive future as you join me in welcoming the next President of the United States, Kamala Harris.
That is one hell of a hype man she's got. Ho, 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 ho. I'm just muting the stream while Beyonce's Freedom plays, guys. But hit that like button for Tim Walz' speech. Hit that like button to show your support for Kamala. Let's go. Almost 1,000 people on the stream. We got people on Facebook. We got people on Twitch. Oh, yeah. Let them hear it.
Can we hear it for Tim Walz? Oh my goodness, oh, it's good to be back in Arizona. Good evening, everyone. Oh my goodness, thank you all so very much. Oh, it is good to be back. Let me just say, let me just start by thanking everyone who is here. Thank you all so very much. All of you. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We are going to do this. And I want to thank all of the incredible leaders who are here, including Congressman Greg Stanton, your next United States Senator, Congressman Ruben Gallego, and my dear friend, United States Senator Mark Kelly. And let me just say, as Arizona knows, Mark is an extraordinary leader who has dedicated his life to the service of our nation as a fighter pilot, as an astronaut, and as a member of the United States Congress. And he has given so much to our country. He always fights for the people of Arizona. And I am so grateful, Mark, for your friendship and your leadership. And, of course, the phenomenal Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. There are also an incredible group of mayors with us today. Mayor Kate Gallego, Mayor Corey Woods, and Arizona co-chair of Republicans for Harris, Mayor John Giles. So today, I also bring greetings from our incredible President, Joe Biden. And I know we are all deeply grateful for his lifetime of service to our nation, and we thank Joe Biden each and every day for all he is and all he has done and all he has yet to do. Let us thank him always.
Weldon, good to see you in the chat.
So, Arizona, this has been a big week. On Monday, I officially became the Democratic nominee for President of the United States. And on Tuesday, I announced my running mate in this campaign, Governor Tim Walz. And as you all just heard, Tim has a great record as governor of the great state of Minnesota. And to those who know him best, Tim goes by a few more titles besides governor. To his wife, Gwen.
Okay, I don't know if she's getting heckled or what's happening, but it was just Tuesday that she announced Tim Walz. It feels like, oh my gosh, I don't know. It feels like it's been a month. Is that just me? I don't know. It's been such a crazy few days.
So
wow.
Tim,
Wow.
we know him by governor, but you'll soon get to know his wife, Gwen, to whom, you know what? Hold on a second. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. Here's the thing. We are all in here together. I'm told an extraordinary number of folks who are here together because we love our country. We're here to fight for our democracy. Which includes respecting the voices that I think that we are hearing from. And let me just say this on topic of what I think I'm hearing over there. Let me just speak to that for a moment, and then I'm going to get back to the business at hand. So let me say, I have been clear. Now is the time to get a ceasefire deal and get the hostage deal done. Now is the time. And the president and I are working around the clock every day to get that ceasefire deal done and bring the hostages home.
Yeah, one of her first major non-campaign speeches was addressing the Israeli-Palestinian
your voices, but
conflict.
We are here to now talk about
it's on the
this
channel.
race in
If anybody has any questions, would like to hear it. She condemns Netanyahu. She condemns Hamas. Calls for a ceasefire. Talks about her support for the two-state solution. It's
Tim
all there.
Walz. So
it's a
let's just
fantastic
say
speech.
this.
It's on the channel. If anyone would like to
Besides
listen to
being governor, the thing I've come to learn about Tim Walz that you have known and may learn more. He's an extraordinary person. He's known by many titles. To his wife, Gwen, he is husband. To his kids, Hope and Gus, he is dad. To the people of southern Minnesota for 12 years, he was congressman. To his former high school students, he was Mr. Walz. And to his former high school football players, he was coach. And in 88 days, the nation will know Coach Walz by a new title, Vice President of the United States. So it's so good to be back in Arizona, and I thank you all for turning out today. This is an extraordinary, extraordinary thing. And Arizona, I'll also say this, as exciting as this is, we cannot lose sight of a really important fact. We are definitely running as the underdog. We are the underdog. We are out in great numbers, but we got a lot of work to do. And this is going to be hard work, but I know we like hard work. Hard work is good work for all of us. Hard work is good work. And we will do it with joy. And I know we are all clear about what we are up against. As many of you know, before I was elected vice president, I was an elected United States Senator. Before that, I was an elected Attorney General, and before that, an elected District Attorney. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. So I took on, in these roles, perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, scammers who broke the rules for personal gain. So Arizona, hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. In fact, I've been dealing with people like him my entire career. For example, as Attorney General of California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges that scammed students. Well, Donald Trump ran a for-profit college that scammed students. As a prosecutor, I specialized in cases of sexual abuse. Well, Donald Trump was found liable for committing sexual abuse. As Attorney General, I held Wall Street banks accountable for fraud. Well, Donald Trump was just found guilty of fraud, 34 counts. So all of this, yeah, the courts will deal with that. We're going to win in November. We're going to win in November. We'll handle that too. So, but all of this is to say, in this campaign, I will proudly put my record against his every day of the week. Every day of the week. But make no mistake, that being said, our campaign is not just about us versus Donald Trump. It is about, and I love you guys, our campaign is about two different visions for our nation. One, ours, focused on the future. The other, focused on the past. And Arizona, we fight for the future. A future with affordable health care, affordable child care, and paid leave. A future where we build a broad-based economy where every American has an opportunity to own a home, to start a business, to build wealth. Here with us today, I know we have a number of Native leaders. And as president, I will tell you, I will always honor tribal sovereignty and respect tribal self-determination. And fight for a future where every Native person can realize their aspirations and every Native community is a place of opportunity. We believe in a future where we lower the cost of living for America's families so that they have the chance not just to get by, but to get ahead. Because look, while our economy is doing well by many measures, prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. When I was Attorney General, I went after price-fixing schemes. And when I am president, I will continue that work to bring down prices. I will take on big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging. I will take on corporate landlords that unfairly raise rents on working families. I will take on big pharma and cap the cost of prescription drugs for all Americans. And all of this is to say, unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first. Because you see, Coach Walz and I know the middle class built the United States of America. And when the middle class is strong, America is strong. And while we work to move our nation forward, look, Donald Trump, be very clear, intends to move us backward. Just look, and we're not going back. Look at his, Tim talked about it. Look at his Project 2025 agenda. It's 900 plus pages. I can't believe they put that thing in writing, by the way. But when you look at it, when you read it, you will see Project 2025 is a plan to weaken the middle class. If he is elected, Donald Trump intends to give a tax break to billionaires and big corporations. He intends to cut Social Security and Medicare. He intends to surrender our fight against the climate crisis. And Arizona, every day you feel the impact of extreme heat and drought. You know this crisis is real. He calls it a hoax. And on top of all of this, if Donald Trump wins in November, he intends to end the Affordable Care Act. and take us back to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. You remember what that was? Remember what that was? He won't win. You're right. We will win. We will win. And part of why we are going to win is because we remember, and we are smart, and we know what's happening, and we're not falling for the gaslighting, and we're not falling for the okie doke. That's why. So look, America has tried so many of those failed policies before, and like we all know, we're not going back. We will move forward and take on the biggest issues facing our nation. For example, the issue of immigration. So I was Attorney General of a border state. I went after the transnational gangs, the drug cartels, and human traffickers. I prosecuted them in case after case, and I won. So I know what I'm talking about. We know our immigration system is broken, and we know what it takes to fix it. Comprehensive reform that includes strong border security and an earned pathway to citizenship. But Donald Trump does not want to fix this problem. Be clear about that. He has no interest or desire to actually fix the problem. He talks a big game about border security, but he does not walk the walk. Earlier this year, everybody here knows, earlier this year we had a chance to pass the toughest bipartisan border security bill in decades. But Donald Trump tanked the deal. Because he thought by doing that it would help him win an election. But when I am president, I will sign the bill. So Arizona, ours is a fight for the future, and it is a fight for freedom. Across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault against hard-fought, hard-won freedoms and rights. The freedom to vote, the freedom to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. And the freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do. And on that last point, understand how we got here. When he was president, Donald Trump handpicked 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would overturn and undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And as he intended, they did. And now, in over 20 states in our nation, there is a Trump abortion ban. Many, like Arizona, with no exceptions even for rape or incest. And just yesterday, in a press conference, we got a fresh reminder of what Donald Trump's Project 2025 agenda would do. It would ban medication abortion in every state. But we are not going to let that happen because we trust women. And when I am President of the United States and when Congress passes a bill to restore reproductive freedoms for every woman in America, I will sign it into law.
I mean, like, how lost of a political party do you have to be where Kamala can just say, we trust women,
listen,
and it's the biggest applaud of the night.
Here's the thing that we all know.
Republicans have backed themselves into a
Here's
corner.
the thing we all know. Generations
Delusional, that party is.
of Americans before us led the fight for freedom. Now, the baton is in our hands. Each and every one of us. So we who believe in the sacred freedom to vote will finally pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the Freedom to Vote Act. And we who believe in the freedom to live safe from gun violence will finally pass an assault weapons ban, universal background checks, and red flag laws. So much is on the line in this election. And understand, this is not 2016, and this is not 2020. You know, this time around, the stakes are even higher. And that's because last month, the United States Supreme Court basically just told the former president, who has been convicted of fraud, that going forward, he will be effectively immune no matter what he does in the White House. But think about what that means. Think about what that means in this election. Think about what that means. He's been effectively told he will be immune if he's back in the White House. Think about what that means when you remember Donald Trump has openly vowed, if reelected, he will be a dictator on day one. That he will weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Remember that he even called for the, quote, termination of the Constitution of the United States. Understand what this means. And let us be very clear, someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of the United States President. Never again. Never again. So Arizona, it all comes down to this. We are here because we love our country. We love our country. We love our country, and I do believe it is the highest form of patriotism to fight for the ideals of our country. That's how we preserve the promise of America. And after all, the promise of America is what makes it possible for Governor Walz and me to be on the same stage together. Because think, two middle-class kids, one a daughter of Oakland, California, who was raised by a working mother, had a summer job at McDonald's, The other, a son of Nebraska Plains who grew up working on a farm. Think about it. Only in America is it possible for them together to make it all the way to the White House. Only in America. Only in America. So we together, all of us, we're running this campaign on behalf of all Americans, from red states to blue states, from the heartland to the coast. And when we are elected, we will govern on behalf of all Americans. All Americans. So Arizona, ultimately in this election, I do believe we each one of us, we face a question. That question being, what kind of country do we want to live in? Do we want to live in a country of chaos, fear, and hate? Or a country of freedom, compassion, and rule of law? And the beauty of our democracy is that we each have the power to answer that question. Each one of us in a democracy has the power to answer that question. The power is with the people. And in the next, then 88 days, we need you to use your power. We need you to knock on some doors. We need you to register folks to vote. We need you to energize, to mobilize, to organize, and to make your voices heard. So Arizona, I ask, are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Yeah, just another fantastic speech there. Tim Walz, actually, I think he's just getting better and better and better. I mean, he had a line where he says, we're just going to beat the hell out of Donald Trump in November. Beat the hell out of him. He repeated it. I also loved how Kamala handled the protesters there. This is the second straight rally where she had someone try to interrupt her. And in the previous rally, she fed off that energy and she got really fired up. And today she just went straight, spoke straight to those people protesting, and that was it. They stopped protesting. So before we end, I would love to hear where you guys are watching from. I think we had Scotland in the house. Is that Ian? I know we've got Pennsylvania in the house. I did see a couple of San Diego folks in the house. That's awesome. That's where I'm from. This rally was in Arizona, representing the Southwest. Rachel Buckley from Southern Oregon. I'm gonna bring up the chat here and actually do it this time. again, I'm still getting the hang of the editing software. We've got San Antonio, Texas in the house, Oregon, New Jersey, Tennessee, Georgia, Scotland, Sweden in the house, Cumberland, Maryland, South Carolina, Missouri. Man. Kimberly Murnane, Chicago, holding on strong for the Dems. Washington State, Ohio. Oh, let's go, guys. Florida, Hawaii is in the house. Rachel, thank you so much. Thank you for continuing to join me in the streams and continue to take part of the chat. Over 600 likes, guys. I mean, we were up above 1,000 viewers just on YouTube alone. And I mentioned before this, but this is only when a few hundred viewers were here. I'm also streaming on Twitch, twitch.com twitch.com/reflect_news, and then facebook.com/rflctvid if you want to follow along there. New Zealand's in the house, California, Florida, Los Angeles, Sacktown, San Francisco, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Amazing, amazing. All over the country, all over the world. Awesome. Marcia, note that she didn't encourage protesters to be assaulted and dragged off. 100%. 100%. Anita's in Knoxville. Oh, yeah. Montreal, Tampa Bay. Let's go. The Netherlands. Rita from the Netherlands. Amazing. Amazing. Another amazing stream. It's Friday. We've got the weekend ahead of us. Tomorrow there will undoubtedly be more to talk about. Probably more campaign events going on. It looks like Kamala is just kind of, she's just shaking hands, walking down the exit ramp. And you've got a lot of different people in that audience. And that is amazing to see. Amazing to see. Yeah, Maple Lane, Reddit holds over 19,000. And they packed that thing to the point where Walz was saying it was a record. London, England in the house. Amazing, guys. Amazing. I'm gonna sign off and start my Friday night. Watch some Olympics. We've got some big time Olympics matches coming up. Tomorrow we've got the men's basketball team trying to win gold. Sunday we've got women's soccer trying to win gold, and women's volleyball trying to win gold. So a lot going on this weekend. And you guys just keep turning out. And you guys, I'm so honored to have you guys with me as part of this community. And you guys keep coming back. You keep taking part in the chat. And this community is the best on YouTube. Respectful. We keep the people out who want to just incite and aggravate and frustrate, and it's all about being a joyful warrior, right? And spreading that love. So yeah, so I'm gonna step away, but I just want to say thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you in the next live stream.